Outside of the slow hums of early morning, the hospital room remained entirely silent, the air rife with tension. Maxwell Lord IV, sitting at the bedside of Touma Kamijo. The two, now enemies, sitting in what could only be known as uneased tension. Right now, you're thinking about calling your T-spheres. You're free to do as you wish, but I assure you, I have not come here seeking a fight. Yeah? Then why are you here? It's not like we're going to become best friends from this, but you should know that already. I do. I have to say, of all the people that Michael could have chosen, you are definitely the most peculiar choice. The record shows that you're level 0 Esper, but even among the rankings of the level 0s, you are the weakest. But I think we can both agree that if we really ran the test, it would show that while there may be nothing on the surface, you're not like any other level 0. But technically, because you don't register any metahuman ability or supernatural technique, you can afford to be classified as a 0. Even with the boost that you get from using the T-mask and the technology that you've inherited from Mr. Terrific. And then there's that right arm of yours. Touma, as he could hardly move, would clench, using his left hand on his right wrist. He even knows about Imagine Breaker? What have I gotten myself into? I'm not entirely sure of how it works, but somehow you've managed to negate the power of Accelerator. I must admit, the fight between the two of you was definitely educational. You were the one funding Project Accelerator. You were close to getting yourself a level 6 Esper. Perhaps. But even at a level 6, he still would have been miles away from reaching his true potential. And you've managed to sink all of those endeavors into the ground. Now no one wants to invest in him. So he's basically just a lost cause. Yeah. Unfortunate how that turns out. It's funny enough, but you didn't do it to get back at me. You did it to help out that girl, Misaka Mikoto. Virtuous, if nothing else, truly the hallmark of a hero. I just like to help out where I can. I've seen. And because of your status, you're able to stay under the radar. Quite impressive. I'll get straight to the point, Touma. You have gifts. What you can do, what you've managed to accomplish in just a short amount of time is nothing short of miraculous. The fact that the scientific and magic community, both on opposite sides of the spectrum, and yet they have come to acknowledge you, just as I have acknowledged you. I'm sure you know about my past. I'm sure that you've been well informed about who I am, my business. I know that you've been after Index before. So whatever business proposition you have, I can tell you or you can shove it. You're not getting your hand on Index or the grimoires. I don't care how powerful you are or how strong you might be. Even if it kills me, I'll stop you here and now if you even make a move towards Index. All right. Calm down, kid. No need to be on the whole hero spiel 24/7. Like I said, we're in a state of truce. If I were to make any move against you, even if you are the weakest of the zeros, that would be considered an act of war. Could cause international incidents, and trust me, that's the last thing my business needs to get involved in. And besides, I'm an alumni. Alumni? You mean, that's right. There was a time when I went to Academy City. I graduated from one of the colleges here. I assume they don't talk much about me, or at least for what they say, a lot of it's often left off the record books. But I imagine that a kid like you doesn't pay attention to history. Unfortunately, Touma would have to admit he didn't. For him not to even know that level of information. I'll let you in on something else. When I graduated, I was the only one classified as a level 10 Esper. A level 10? No way. You were... That's right. I was the only one to reach that level. No one's even come close. That's why Accelerator has always been chasing for a higher level of power. Even if he had gotten to the rank of 6, he still would have been leagues below me. Still, it gave him something to aspire to, especially when the prospect of killing the original Mr. Terrific was on the table. But I saw other ways of dealing with him. Maxwell reached into his coat pocket, pulling out a crumbled piece of paper that looked like it had been badly burnt. What's that? It's a piece of translated grimoire. It cost almost $2.4 billion to make. It's completely destroyed now, but I figured I should show you. It was this that killed Michael Holt. That curse. You mean... Yes. This is just a fraction, a small sample from the power of the grimoire that I was able to pull from Index's subconscious. Believe me, the money, the manpower, everything that went into getting this piece of paper, all so I could kill him. And why are you showing me this? To show you that this war, if it becomes a war, is not going to be for the faint of heart. Think about how much was poured into this. And trust me, I'm not the only one that's after her. Other magical organizations, others who have their own innate desires and schemes. Contrary to what you might believe, you and I are on the same side. We fight for the same thing. We don't fight for the same thing. I fight to protect, to keep people safe, to keep my friends safe. But you only fight for yourself. You only fight for power, for greed. And what do you even hope to gain? Are you familiar with the Doomsday Clock? Yeah, the Doomsday Clock. It alerts the world how close we are to annihilation. Exactly. But they don't tell you the full story of the Doomsday Clock. It's not just to keep track of whenever mankind decides to be stupid enough to push that big old red button and enter us into nuclear hellfire. The Doomsday Clock serves an even greater purpose. It's the one thing that binds the magic and scientific community together. There was once a man, unknown by many, who created the Doomsday Clock with a combination of scientific ingenuity and masterful prowess. It is the one thing that every scientist reveres and every magician fears. The Doomsday Clock, in its creation, tells not only of the folly of man, but of the universe. How close we are to the brink of losing everything. Of everything, Touma would say. So you're saying not just from man-made disasters, but yes, Touma. Surely by now you've come to realize that this world is filled with beings greater than you can imagine. Angels, demons, gods, monsters, demigods. those of the supernatural and the super fantastic, all rolled into one. This world is a melting pot of power. And at any moment, like a powder keg, one explosion is all it takes. Perhaps a demigod slays a god, and that brings forth some scriptural Armageddon. Or perhaps a scientist who goes far beyond his means creates something that he can't stop. Or perhaps a magician flies too close to the sun like Icarus and discovers a grimoire with an ancient text. Perhaps the Necronomicon de Ex Mortis. Or perhaps an alchemist tries to play God and creates something even worse. Do you understand where I'm getting at, Touma? At any moment, any one of these phenomena, of these events, could lead to disaster. And what role do you play in all of this? I seek to gain the powers needed to save the world. That is what Lord Tech was founded upon. It is what I live by. I have no qualms of doing what needs to be done. And I don't view myself as a hero. No, I would never give myself such a title. I simply know that this world, to protect it, to keep it safe, one must be willing to use that power. A power that transcends all reality, heaven, earth, and hell. A power over light and dark, science and magic. One must join them all. And at the center of it, one must lead. And you view yourself as that leader, the great savior of the world. I'm the only one who can save the world. But I can't do it alone. That's why I've come to you. Maxwell would pull out a business card as he extended it to Touma. And on it were 3 initials, JLI. Long ago, when the earth was enthralled in World War II, it was said that those of the German army, led by the great Fuhrer, attempted to use power from the mystic side of things. They attempted to grab hold of the spear of destiny, and had they done so, the world would have been plunged into a new era of darkness, along with other foes and acolytes of evil. But a group arose to face them, of powerful metahumans, sorcerers, those of science and of otherworldly strength. They were known as the Justice Society of America. Heroes and legends alike. I've heard something about them. Many people consider them to be myth. I assure you they were not myths. They were real. Very real. But now they're gone. However, a code of justice must be adhered to. The JLI, Justice League International. Justice League International? Yes. I want to recruit the best of the best all around the world, bringing together all of their talents, all of their abilities. I am building a strong collective, Touma. An army who will fight with me, fight for the future of the world. I want you in my army. I know you have potential. Potential that's being wasted here. If you join me, all of my resources, my knowledge, it will be at your disposal. Not just you, but Index as well. We can keep her safe together. We don't have to live in fear of the power of the grimoires. Imagine if you could master just a fraction of that ability. What we could be able to do. We could be able to, no thank you. I won't hand over Index to you or anyone. And I'm not getting involved in your army. But I will tell you this. If you come here looking for trouble, you're going to find it. And you're not going to like that you did. The power of the grimoires will never be used, under any circumstances. I won't put Index through that. And I won't let you do it either. Think carefully about this, Touma. You've barely gotten by now, but how long is that going to last? You have no friends, no allies, no one that will truly back you up. The church, they only tolerate you until they come to annihilate you. And any other church or magical foundation that seeks out Index will become your enemy. And what of the institutes of science? Do you really think they'll leave you alone either? You'll fight a war on both fronts and you will be destroyed just like Michael was. One man cannot change the world, but maybe he can make it better. If the whole world becomes my enemy, then so be it. If I have to fight all of you, then bring it on. But I won't let anything happen to Index. I'm sorry, but that's where the conversation ends. So you can take this, your Justice League, your money, your tech, everything, shove it up your ass for all I care. My answer is final. I believe you've heard the boy, a third voice said. They turned to see a small woman with pink hair. Miss Tsukuyomi. Hi, Touma. And hello, Maxwell. It's been a while. Teacher. Teacher? Yes, Touma. I was once his teacher, just like I am yours. How are you, Maxwell? Miss Tsukuyomi, you haven't aged a day at all. Still as vibrant as ever. Why, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. After all, you were my best student. But you're attempting to corrupt my new students. That I cannot allow. I believe you've made your point, and the boy has given his answer. You have no more business here. I guess you're right. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Touma. Accelerator. The project is over. The Misaka clones, they are free to their own device. I think it's time for me to search in my endeavors into a new frontier. A new frontier? But seriously, don't throw it out just yet. We don't have to be enemies. We could work together. Protect Index. Create a better future. No need for unnecessary bloodshed. I would like that also. Everyone deserves a fair chance at life, wouldn't you say? Fair. Like fair play? Funny choice of words. Take care of yourself, Mr. Kamijo. And good day to you, Miss Tsukuyomi. As you, Maxwell, please get home safe. And with that, Maxwell Lord would leave the room. The teacher would check on Touma, and just shortly after, Misaka and Index would follow along. The two girls worried sick about Touma and what he had put himself through. He would reassure them that everything was fine. Still, the threat and the offer of Maxwell Lord still loomed on his mind. Whatever the future held, whatever enemies he'd have to face, Touma knew that he could endure it. He wouldn't allow himself to falter. He wouldn't give in to fears or doubts. He would hold on to what made him who he was. He wouldn't believe in self-sacrifice. He wouldn't betray the confidence of those who trusted him. Even in the face of the impossible, he would make his own reality, a future carved with his own hands, a world that was honest, just, and above all, a world that was fair. Meanwhile, on a rooftop of a building overlooking Academy City, two figures sit together. A young man dressed in beach attire with sunglasses. The other, in dark clothing and a trench coat with red hair, finishing off a cigarette. So, why does the washed-up sorcerer grace me with his presence? Magnus said to Moharu. Now, just because I'm no longer out in the field doesn't mean that we can't speak from time to time, Magnus. After all, you and I used to be best buddies, and best buddies, that's not what I would call it. Besides, what use do we have for a sorcerer who mostly gave up his power, reduced to only using it for 1 hour a day? Truly pathetic if I've ever seen a case. Hey now, I've had to make my moves. In all fairness, I just work for the highest bidder. I apply my skills wherever they're needed. Yeah, right. You want information about Kamijo, don't you? Aw, you figured it out. So, how's the kid doing, huh? He's out there kicking ass and taking names and stuff like that? He's an annoyance till the very end. But those in the higher up department sees a use for him. So for now, we're allowing him to act as the warden towards Index. At least at our discretion. Ooh, nice. So, his power has grown that much that you have to recognize him. Good. And what exactly are you after? How long are you going to keep lying to him about who you really are? No, there's no need to go spoiling things. You just have to have faith and allow things to happen at their natural pace. For now, I just want to observe and see how else he'll continue to impress. What about you? Well, I don't have the luxury of just sitting and lazing around. I have a job to do. With everything that's happening, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about things. What? You're still worried about that old prophecy? Do not go making light of the prophecy. You know better than anyone what that could lead to. Ah, yes. The prophecy of the Great War. They've been talking about it for so long. I wonder what form it'll take. If a great war does break out, and we find ourselves on the battlefield, I won't hesitate to turn you into barbecue. Yeah, I know. You're gonna try to incinerate my very bones. That's assuming that you can get it done in an hour. I won't need an hour. I'll only need 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Someone's pretty confident in themselves now, aren't they? I'd say you've got about 1:30 max. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. And with that, Magnus would vanish, leaving Moharu all to his lonesome. As he was getting ready to leave, his phone would ring, an unknown number, at least to the human world. But to be getting a call from him of all people? Check out for Moharu. What is it? Okay. Huh? Hold on. Makai insects. School? Zombies? Well, who did you send? The spirit detective? Really? And his idiot friends. Oh, great. So now we're trusting criminals. I don't care if you were short-staffed. He's supposed to be behind bars. Both of them. But no. Now you've got Yoko Kurama and you've got Hiei just running free, all willy-nilly as you wish. You know what? When this comes back and bites you on the... No, I'm not busy, but... I really don't... You... What's her name? Keiko. Fine, alright. I'm on my way. Look. If I do this, you owe me. Big time. Yeah, I'm on it. Alright. Now I gotta get out of here and head off to a... You only get 1 hour, Koenma. You only get 1 hour. This concludes A Certain Magical Index, Sage of Knowledge. What if Touma Kamijo was Mr. Terrific? Season 1, Part 12. And with the conclusion of this video, this brings Part 1 of Anime DC Comics Chapter 3, Tales of the Infinite Earths to a close. Tales of Earth 2. First, I want to take the time to say thank you to everyone who has been supportive of this series. I will definitely say that this one is probably the most left field of any story that I've ever done. But that's kind of the beauty of it when you really think about it. More often than not, it's the stories where I take two things that you would never want to think that you would ever put together. You put them together and they end up doing probably the most popular views on the channel. I've really been surprised by how many of you guys have really been into the Certain Magical Index Mr. Terrific story. Especially given the fact that Mr. Terrific, while he is a prominent DC character, isn't really the most favorite. But I have to admit, with the upcoming Superman movie coming out and with him making his debut on the big screens, I kind of felt like this was the best time to put this character out there, especially since I'm willing to bet that his stock as a character is going to take a major uptick in the community in the coming weeks and months. So I figured this might be a good chance to introduce some of his mythos into this story, as well as the broader aspects of Earth 2. All in all, I have enjoyed making the stories in the Earth 2 universe as we continue our build. And all in all, just want to say thank you for your support, especially with the amount of breaks that I've taken. Definitely took this stretch of time a lot longer than I originally thought it was going to be. But all in all, I have enjoyed it a lot. And I can't wait to get back to it with DC Comics. We are going to be taking a little bit of a break for now when it comes to the world of DC. But when we return with Tales of the Green Lantern Corps. Now, between now and then, there might be some changes. Some series I'm probably going to drop or change or rearrange. But I would say that still the target goal is to do 5 different Green Lantern stories in the Tale of the Green Lantern Corps. And we're going to try to focus on specific Green Lanterns and different Green Lantern scenarios. So I hope you'll look forward to that when we return. But until then, thank you all for your support. Like I always say, can't do it without you. You make the channel grow. You make the core grow. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video, and that's going to do it for the end of Season 1 of A Certain Magical Index, Sage of Knowledge. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.